Hey guys, John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo here with a full review for you of the Palm Pixi for Sprint. We're going to try the phone review in a sort of new angle. I'm just going to focus on the phone instead of me talking, so let me know what you guys think. I'm going to break this review up into two parts. First, review the Pixi on its own, in its own little sphere, and then focus on the grander cell phone scheme, particularly in Sprint's lineup. So the Pixi is going to run you just about $100 on a 2-year contract. Before I do my phone reviews, I generally like to talk about call quality first, since it is a phone and it's got to make good phone calls. No matter how good the browser or anything else it does, if the phone quality sucks, it's not going to be a good experience for you. So the phone quality and the call quality on the Pixi is actually fantastic. That may be due to the location of where I am in Southern California, and Sprint service here is very strong, but the calls were crystal clear. People on my end reported absolutely zero white noise. People on the other end of the call reported zero noise as well. They often thought I was even on a land phone. I used this phone as my own phone, as my daily driver, for just about 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks I only experienced one dropped call. So the network was quite good, and I was really impressed with Sprint's service. So if you were worried about call quality on the Pixi, don't worry. If you're a heavy speakerphone user, something to keep in mind, the speakerphone on the back, while it does have those two speaker grills, it's not the loudest. So if you rely a lot on speakerphone, this one might not be the phone for you. If you just use it passively, it's certainly loud enough to use, but if you're relying on it in a car, for example, if there's a lot of traffic or a big truck driving by, you're going to completely lose the call and not be able to hear what they're saying. So you saw me do a video of the Pre and showing you how the browser works and demonstrating the multi-touch. I will say that the multi-touch implementation on the Pre is probably one of the best that I've seen. It works just really well, probably second best to, let's say, the iPhone. Multi-touch capabilities as far as managing your pictures or using the browser, or really just doing anything that involves a screen. Multi-touch just works really well. It's very smooth. We've seen multi-touch implemented on devices like the HTC Hero, for example, and while it works and is quite functional, it can be a little choppy at times. And that's just not the case here with the Pixi. It works really smooth and quite well. So if you're looking for a multi-touch enabled device, the Pixi really is a good way to go, and that's true of all of the WebOS phones, so including the Pre as well. So the keyboard was one of the things I was most worried about the Pixi, and I did a video demonstrating how the keyboard works, and I gotta say I was really impressed with how easy it was to type on. You wouldn't expect it looking at the size of the device. It's really quite small, and the keyboards look very cramped, but they're surprisingly easy to use. The keys have a little bit of a tactile clicky feel to them, and there's a dome on them, so that to be stick up a little bit more than the Pre's. And you don't have the bumpers on the side, so you can really get your hands around the device for typing. It makes it just a little bit easier. Overall, I was very impressed with the keyboard. One of the things that I don't like about typing on the Pixi and the Pre as well is that it doesn't have any sort of autocorrect. And while the keyboard is very good, you're certainly bound to make errors. And I really would have liked some sort of autocorrect feature. When I first reviewed the Pre, probably back almost 6 months ago, that was one of the features I was really hoping for with WebOS. And I would have assumed that Palm would have rolled that out in an over-the-air update, but it still hasn't come yet. So if you've got very fat thumbs and you tend to make an error or two, you're going to want to be very aware of that when you're using the Pixi. But overall, the keyboard is very usable and surprisingly easy to use. Camera quality was just okay. It wasn't the best. It's really passable for a cell phone camera, but right now you cannot take any sort of video, and it does have a single LED flash. One of the other downsides of the Pixi, and certainly this is true of the Pre as well, is the boot up time. And that's just a WebOS thing. It can take upwards of 1.5 minutes for this thing to go from off to on. It gets to be a little annoying. So working with the phone, you're going to be dealing primarily, or obviously, full-time with the operating system. And I really like WebOS, which is the operating system that this is running. It's very intuitive and easy to use. I think it's even fun as well. The card management system, I think, makes things just very easy. You can take an application and throw it away when you're done and really manage multiples right from this card interface. It's very elegant, and I think it's quite useful as well. Also, there's presence of Synergy, which pulls all of your contacts and calendars from Gmail, from Yahoo, from Facebook now, and from even LinkedIn into a single unified format. So either you'll see all your contacts listed into one contact, or all your emails will be in a single mailbox. You can divide them up if you like, but it's nice to have an option of having them all there. especially having calendars. So if you use an Exchange calendar at work, you use your Gmail at home, it really makes it quite nice to be able to have all those sort of combined. And Synergy does a really nice job of doing that. Just with calendars, everything will show up right there. Really makes it very easy. One of the things that I really do enjoy about WebOS, in this case in the Pixi, is how it handles notifications. So you'll see right there I've got a little envelope. If I tap it, it's really an unobtrusive way to get emails. And if I don't want to read it, I just toss it away. If I want to open it up, I just click on it. The Pixi does not come with Wi-Fi. That's definitely something to keep in mind. A lot of Sprint's add-on features, like the video, NFL Network, NASCAR, or even Sprint TV, are obviously very data and video centric. And the quality of the video, while watchable, definitely isn't Wi-Fi strong. So you're going to get a little pixelated and it's going to take a long time to load. Something to keep in mind. From a browsing standpoint, it's going to be okay because Sprint's network does tend to be very fast. But something I want you to keep in mind if you're looking to get the device, if you rely heavily on Wi-Fi or you want that little bit of extra speed, this is something that the Pixi does not have. Overall, in the Pixi on itself, I was very impressed with it. I really liked using the phone. It's extremely small and very portable, and you can really see the size of the device when you put it next to something you're familiar with. So here's the iPhone, for example. The Pixi looks downright minuscule, and it really is quite tiny. One of the other downsides of the Pixi as well is that it's stuck with your 8 gigabytes of storage. There isn't any sort of micro SD expansion. So if you're looking for a lot of music and you want to bring over your whole library, you're going to run into some trouble or definitely have to do some management. So the Pixi as a whole, it really is a great phone. I really enjoyed using it. The screen was bright and vibrant. The keyboard was surprisingly easy to use. Call quality was really good. And overall was a very good experience. So if I have to rank the Pixi on a 1 to 5, I give it a very solid 4, missing that extra point because of a lack of autocorrect for keyboards, lack of Wi-Fi. If it had those things, it would have been a very close 5. There's been a lot of questions about the Pixi's processor being a little slow and laggy. And in my experience, the processor held up just fine. I was able to keep 3, 4, sometimes even 5 cards open without really experiencing much of a slowdown. So I think that's been greatly exaggerated. So in the greater scheme of things, I'm going to be hard-pressed to recommend the Pixi over the Pre, which is $50 more, coming in at just about $149.99. While the Pixi does have a better keyboard, the Pre offers you a lot more. It's got a bigger screen. It's got Wi-Fi. And it's got a little faster processor. You're going to want to manage more than 5 cards, for example. The Pre is going to be the way that you're going to want to go. When you put them both side to side, it's really hard to see who Palm is targeting with the Pixi. Definitely a $99 price point is quite good, but only $50 more to upgrade for a faster processor, bigger screen, and Wi-Fi would probably be the way I'd recommend. But if you do like the form factor of the candy bar, you don't want the slide-out mechanism that the Pre had, Pixi is going to be a great buy for you. Anyway guys, I'm John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo, and hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.